Yes, I am going to do it, despite the fierce opposition by fans of the Harry Potter books. The first thing we should remember is that while the book fans are staunchly unyielding, it is well known that even JK Rowling herself has made some errors concerning the books, both in the books and her statements about the books. Even worse, for the films, changes were made, and said changes were made and or approved by none other than Rowling herself. Book fans refuse to accept this painful fact. One of those facts in particular is what we intend on discussing. That is, the Deathly Hallows, of course. Today's video is sponsored by the Mordfall book series. Get your copies today. Detective Monica Ragnarsdottir is thrust into the deadliest murder cases in her career. Fear and deception lay at every corner, and her fight to save the lives of others just may cost her own. Get Mordfall Disciple and Mordfall Paraben at these retailers today. Book fans swear and feverishly defend the position that it was his mother's love that defended Harry from dying due to the amplified blast of the killing curse in the Forbidden Forest. The argument is that is what it says in the book. That might be so. I never read the books myself, but in the films it is made clear that in the Deathly Hallows that the Hallows is what saved Harry from death. As books are adapted into movies, all have changes in them. From Jaws to the MCU movies, changes were made. After all, it is called Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, not Harry Potter and the Blood Protection. If we think back through all the film series, it is clear that Albus Dumbledore could possibly see the future. He was always planning something, and he was at least 3 steps ahead of everyone else. He knew about the prophecy of the Chosen One, so he deeply involved himself in shaping Harry's life from an infant. He chose to have Harry raised by his mean Muggle relatives instead of magical ones, so that Harry would become humble and not an arrogant bastard. Once at Hogwarts, Dumbledore gave Harry the first Hallow, the Cloak of Invisibility, which belonged to Harry's father, James. Dumbledore already knew what the Hallows were, because he made it a mission to find them for himself many decades before. By the time he saw the Riddle Diary destroyed, he already knew himself that Harry was a Horcrux. He calculated that Harry needed to die at the hands of Harry's cousin Voldemort, and to no one else. Dumbledore knew that Harry needed all 3 Hallows in order to become the Master of Death, the only way to survive. If the blood protection was still active, then why did Dumbledore go through so much trouble to get the Hallows into Harry's possession? Because the love protection didn't exist anymore. By the 6th film, Dumbledore acquired the Resurrection Stone on the ring of Tom's mother, which was also a Horcrux that had a curse on it that was slowly taking Dumbledore's life. He gave the stone to Harry as a gift hidden in the golden snitch that only Harry could open. The final Hallow was the Elder One, the one Dumbledore had since the first movie. He ensured that it was Draco Malfoy who disarmed him of the wand, with Harry being a witness, as he knew that Harry could easily defeat Draco. And not long after this, Harry is faced with a fight for his life at Malfoy Manor. And by the end of said fight, Harry disarms Draco, and in that moment, he became Master of Death. Although none of us noticed this, not even Harry, but Dumbledore knew that it would happen. So, how do we know that it was the Deathly Hallows that saved Harry? When Voldemort first attacked Harry as a baby, the love protection caused the spell to bounce back and hit Voldemort, destroying his body. This did not happen in the Forbidden Forest. what we saw that happened was that Harry was sent to purgatory as represented by the King's Cross station. He meets Dumbledore here, and many things were explained to Harry. Harry finally realized that he had to go back to the land of the living, to which Dumbledore said that Harry had a choice to either go back to the land of the living or to stay dead. This proves that Harry was a master of death. The title gives the owner of all three Hallows the power to be able to choose whether they live or die, an ability that none other had. So what are the conclusions? Harry and Voldemort are cousins. Dumbledore, at some difficulty, made sure that Harry was a master of death in order to survive the killing curse, because he knew that the blood protection would no longer work. We also know that, being a Horcrux, Harry Potter couldn't have died for the whole series, despite not knowing it. Yes, we know his arm was cut by a basilisk fang, but forget about that. We also know that Harry, being a Horcrux created by Voldemort, meant that only Voldemort, as the creator of his own Horcrux, could destroy said Horcrux without needing to use something special to do it. Which is why Dumbledore told Snape that it was essential for it to be Voldemort that killed Harry. Like, share, and subscribe.